Hey guys, remember to like the video and hit subscribe.
Something that I've been struggling with for a long time on YouTube is concern trolling. The thing that I really struggle with is not identifying concern trolling. The difficult part of it is when there are people who have authentic concern out there and the concern trolls are concerned over the same thing. So I'm like, oh, I'm giving in to the concern trolls by addressing, this segment of the population or this segment of my fan base who have genuine concerns. So I don't want to let the trolls inhibit my ability to communicate to my fans or people who are confused out there. So I want to talk about Creator Clash. I want to talk about the structure of the business and how it's changed over the years, and just sort of put to rest any of the lies that are being spread out there about Anissa, about me, and about the
Driscoll Discord is on shambles. Yeah, if you're ever bored, make an account and just go lurk in there. Bro, they talk. It is non-stop. And the cope is insane. I feel like just the craziest thing for me is how much, it's always like my biggest fear. It's like how much your hatred of a person can shade your understanding of reality. So like esports Batman, like is a lawyer, and so much of his legal analysis in that Discord is so bad. And I'm like, bro, what is and it's like, is it really your hatred of me has warped your view of reality so much? Jesus. Upon dismissal, I believe you have fair justification to be pretty defensive about comments alluding to any narratives. In this case, at least upon dismissal, which in my mind is likely. Oh, what, like suing people? It's never worth it, bro. This shit has cost so much money. When did esports Batman become an anti-fan? He's been an anti-fan in Discord server for like 4 months. The seeds were planted, okay, when he went mining nude with a bolty and an 8x scope. What? And then he lied about it when he died. Like, did we just lose a bolty from a naked miner? And he's like, no. And I think the other people in chat were typing. It's like, why does this guy have a 8x? I think we did get it back, but
event. Any of the lies that are being spread out there about Anissa, about me, and about the event. My main incentive for sharing this information is that I have felt extreme.
They keep calling you a yeah, somebody linked something where Jessica was trying to walk through some guy where it's like, it's so cringe. There's this word consent, and people like anytime you want to make something like some real shit, you just like invoke the word consent, and it like makes everything automatically right? Like, oh, yesterday, didn't you drive fast and the passenger didn't want you to drive fast in your car? And it's like, yeah, it's like, so they didn't want you to drive fast, you still did. It's like, yeah. So you were driving non-consensually? And it's like, wait a second, hold on. It's like, well, that's technically maybe true. Okay, when you say consent here, all right, like that word like automatically invokes rape. It's like, oh, you're racist. And I think Jessica was trying to build out some arguments like, well, technically what he did could be considered and it's like, what? Okay. You were citing stuff too low on the lore iceberg. Oh, sorry. This was when I used to play Rust. Hey, Hassan, I sent you an email some time ago about a side project I'm working on. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but no worries at all. It's not your thing. Just want to read it. I love you. Maybe someday, okay? That video is still up. Are you gonna make a manifesto type summary video after the judgment? Maybe. It'll just probably be going through most of the court stuff. I think some of the stuff that's like the most annoying is that like my public advice would be to anybody now would be I don't have to worry about this stuff as much, thank God, because I just am not as active in these circles anymore since like the whole like last year and a half basically. You need NDAs, I guess. That's the thing. It feels cringe. But the more I think about it, the more like you need NDAs. Like you should make people write in writing, because it's bullshit that like a lot of the conversations we have around like, like especially when it comes to recording stuff, although all that too now, it's like it's stuff that's just said verbally, like in person. It's like, well, I don't have a fucking written record of this. Much the same that they don't have a written record, by the way, of me saying anything, right? Because tons of motherfuckers have traded material of me and nobody has ever asked me explicit permission to send. But obviously we talked about it in person. I was like, oh yeah, whatever, just don't let shit leak or whatever. It's all good. But the, yeah, NDAs are necessary. And then also, you should never, ever, ever take accountability or ever apologize or anything online ever. You just should never do that. You should always just say, hey, like I did all this shit privately, my conversation with them, and then say, f it. Because what the f is the point ever of saying anything publicly when somebody could try to come over the top with some unhinged and insane lawsuit? There's like no point for it. Even the, and I was mindful when I initially sent messages to plaintiff where I was like, because there's another Kiwi Farms and Gistical narrative. It's like, oh, he admitted that he did all this non-consensually when he said that like, oh, I'm so sorry, whatever. No, I didn't. I'm sorry that shit leaked, obviously. Like, even if I didn't send it to anybody and somebody like stole my phone, I would still be incredibly apologetic. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, that sucks. Like, I'm sorry. Or if my ex-wife, you know, like posted anything, I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Like this, like, you know, like the idea that this counts as a confession that this person's going to try to use against me in court for $15 million. All that shit. What a waste of everything. Yeah, this is stupid, but what are you going to do? You do know, though, that the anti-fans pivot is going to be, it doesn't matter if he wins, it's still bad. Yeah, I've already seen that narrative start to change. The narrative has changed like pretty significantly. Remember, because in the beginning it was, I was going to get destroyed and lose all my money. And then it was like, don't even have lawyers. I'm trying to represent myself pro se. And then it's changed more and more. And now the stuff that I'm seeing is basically people saying like, oh, well, even if he wins, that doesn't mean anything. Like, he's already committed the moral wrong, and this is just like court, and that doesn't actually matter, and blah, blah. I was like, okay. Since settling is probably not an option anymore, what is the amount you would have given? Do I want to? I'm trying to think if there's any reason why I wouldn't want to say this publicly. I generally just avoid mentioning it. I don't think I want to say that publicly. The reason why I don't think I would want to say that publicly is like, let's say hypothetically, let's say that we get all the way to the trial stage. And then let's say that, let's say everything just goes like the worst it possibly can for me. We go to the trial stage. Let's say that I lose on the Cardi claim, and then they're trying to assess damages. What if I'm on my stream and I say like, I think I probably would have paid her like 400K because I felt like really bad. They could theoretically say something like, well, he said that the damages were worth 400K, so we're going to go ahead and enter it. It's like, well, okay, for me, right? So I don't think I would ever, maybe like once the whole case is over, maybe I'll discuss like a specific term or whatever, but I don't think I would ever say anything before the case ends. Stuff that's like central to any of the 4 causes of action and stuff relating around like dollar amounts and stuff on my end. Yeah, I don't think. Get 935 on Got Rhythm or your case is jinx. I'm really curious about Pisco, Pondering, Hutch, and all of them. Have they been in contact with you behind the scenes? No, I basically lost all of my streamer friends, which is fine. F them. Hold on. If I get a 940 or plus, if I get a 950 plus, then the case is going to get tossed right here in the PI stage. 950 plus, okay? Wait, I don't trust this one. Hold on, let me redo. I don't trust this one. Hold on. What did I say? Did I say 930 or 950? 930 is good enough to win. Just not on the PI hearing, okay? They're gonna use this clip in the next hearing. Can you please look at this, Steven? And he goes to the projector, and it's the 930. He's like, can you read that number for the court? 930. Is it true that on June 3rd you said, if I get a 950 plus, I will win this case? I may have said that. Let me read this transcript. I need a 950 plus to win. Okay, sorry.
My main incentive for is that are being spread out there about Anissa, about me, and about the event. My main incentive for sharing this information is that I have felt extremely handcuffed by Creator Clash these past years because I'm not an expert communicator and I don't know how to convey things, not over-communicate, not do all these things that potentially put the event at risk and put other people at risk. And
I am not an expert communicator. What would you say you do here, sir? Well, I have a YouTube channel that I've been running for 15 years. Okay. So would that be like communication? Well, yeah, but that's not like, that's a totally different thing. Oh, okay. So maybe you're not an expert communicator on these types of events, right? Yeah, not like for these events. Okay. And just to be clear, this was Creator Clash 3, right? Well, yes. How many Creator Clashes do you need to do? And how many YouTube videos do you need to publish before you would say that you are adept at communicating? What? Like, why?
That's kind of why I wanted to step away from this event. It feels like it's inhibiting my ability, like the business side of things, like inhibits my ability to communicate openly and effectively, especially when there's so many people counting on me to do that well. So it's a lot of pressure, and now that Anissa and I have stepped away from it, I want to just clear the air because I don't feel that same pressure that I did when I was part of the event. If you look into charity events, they come in so many different shapes and sizes, and
I like this outfit. Yeah, it better be a good outfit. This shit was expensive as fuck. I got my custom tailored bespoke suits, okay?
there is really no format that is completely obvious for creator boxing plus charity. For the first Creator Clash, we had the business model of after everyone has been paid for, the
Oh. Which brand of suit is it? Armani? No, these are custom-made suits. How much did you spend? I got 3 suits and 4 or 5 different pairs of pants made. It was like $20,000. These were expensive, okay? These were done by Master Tailor Alberto something. I should know the name. I thought he stitched his in here. Oh my God. Delete the VOD, not Alberto. I'm sorry. Umberto Pitagora. Okay.
Expenses of the event, all profits go to charity. That was the business model, and it was successful. Thankfully, it worked out the first year. Now, some people will be critical of one of the costs being parties for Creator Clash 2 and actually Creator Clash 1, because that's where we got the idea from. It was very successful for Creator Clash 1, or the event was successful. We don't know if the party worked to encourage people to promote the event, but that was the idea. You get a bunch of creators to show up to a hotel the night before their fight, and they're going to post about it on social media. And
one thing that was very weird, maybe he'll talk about this, it is kind of weird that Creator Clash 3 was marketed as a charity event, but none of your Creator Clash 3 ticket went to charity. They were going to plan on people raising money for their charities as extra buys. I feel like that's a little strange. I don't have any, I'm a big capitalist. I have no problem with them making money off the event. Like, people are real ass paying. They're like, they're getting 34% of the profits or whatever. If it's profits, like after cost and everything, I don't necessarily think that's bad. Make your bag. But to call it a charity event and none of the actual ticket is, none of the actual ticket goes to, just kind of weird. Josiah's still holding up. Josiah's a boss, okay? I don't think he said anything publicly weird about me, so we take it.
The internet will be abuzz. And the event was successful, so we thought that that strategy of having, a little hubbub, a little hullabaloo before the event and after the event was a good idea. So we ran with that strategy again, hoping that creators will post about it and be excited about it and buzz will be generated. But it didn't happen. Or maybe it did happen, but it just didn't sell tickets. I would cross that off my list as a learning experience of, well, if you do this strategy, you either gotta force people to post about it or you have to, I don't know, not do it. You gotta make sure that people are slapping each other during the weigh-in. That's probably what I'd change it to, because it's cheaper, It's a lot cheaper if people slap each other during the weigh-in. I just wasn't about that. I was just like, I don't want this fake drama shit.
Hutch hasn't said much either. I listened to some 2-minute recording. Here's the thing, okay? Am I looking for anything positive? No, because my expectations of people are in the trash or whatever. But like, I don't, the hand-wringing is just cringe. I don't need the whole like, this, because I listened to Hutch talk about this like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, maybe in 5 years, like, Destiny can redeem himself. I'm like, get the out of here. This is retarded. Like, I don't need this shit. This is retarded. I'm good. Listen, the president is a civilly convicted rapist, all right? I don't need this right now, okay? Get the out of here.
For the second Creator Clash, we used the same business model. This time we increased the budget, we had more fighters, we had a bigger arena, and more expenses in general. As a result of that, there were a lot more costs, and our ticket sales did not make up those costs. It seemed very obvious that this was not the way to run the charity boxing event. We told our business partners, we are not going to do this event again unless it can be promised to us that there was a way to guarantee money for charity. And the business model that was presented to us was what we're enacting, or what we did enact this year with Creator Clash 3. And that is, the for-profit side of the business is unincorporated with the charity aspect. So the charity partner is its own fundraiser that we sort of like push people to, before, during, and after the event. I think where some of the confusion is that many people don't understand how charity events operate, because to be honest, they're all very different. And with something like a charity boxing event, there's a lot of money that you have to front to put it on in the first place. And if you have an investor, you're able to do that. That investor is going to want money, they're going to want profit, but that at least gives you the initial funds to put on the event. There are other charity initiatives and events that allow people to spend money for a ticket and immediately get a product, and also their money goes to charity. Those are usually big conglomerates, giant companies that can afford that cost because they're selling you other things. Some people have an idea of charity events as being like a strictly altruistic thing where everyone is just sacrificing their time and energy and money for the charity. To put on a boxing event costs a lot of money. And even in other examples like GDQ, Games Done Quick is a charity event, but they're not like a charity themselves. You know, they run a business and they partner with a charity and they fundraise for the charity. They send people to the charity and thankfully they have, you know, multiple ways of being paid and paying the people who
I could be wrong because GDQ is just good for farming cringe. But like, doesn't GDQ make most of its money through all the donations on stream? And are those donations like going to charities? Isn't that how that event works? Okay, yeah, all right.
who are running the show. That might be through payment from the charity. That might be through their own like a Twitch stream or merchandise. I just know that for a charity boxing event in the form of Creator Clash, there aren't too many ways to recoup your money other than ticket sales. And that was obviously the biggest challenge of the previous two events. When it does well, awesome. But when it doesn't, it's a huge problem. It remains to be seen whether the for-profit business side of the event will be successful. But the main controversy, I would say, is that it was revealed with the change of ownership that Anissa and I, because we're 1/3 ownership of Creator Clash, the business, that we were getting 34% of the profit share. We weren't anticipating this event doing well. Like, we wanted to do well enough to pay back the investors, of course. So that's one of the reasons that we were, you know, okay with the profit share thing. But another part of it as well is that the contract wasn't structured in a way that the profit share could just directly go to charity. It was told to us, like, you could just donate your portion of the profit share to charity after the event. So we were like, okay, fine. Now, I know some people...
But why? Okay. That's kind of a that's a very weird, like, trust me, bro. But like, that's obviously you're setting yourself up for a bad time if that's what you're doing. But
we'll find it hard to believe that Anissa and I were just going to give our portion of the profit share to charity. There's nothing I could really say to, I think, convince them otherwise. It was up to our discretion at the end of the day. And if you don't believe us, I can't say anything that'll change your mind. I guess my only appeal is that year one, we made a bunch of money for charity, and I just got the fighter's pay like everyone else. In year two of the event, we definitely got nothing. So yeah, having said all this, I know that there's probably a lot of you out there who honestly don't care, and you're just like, you want to see boxing, or you just want to see regular videos. I get that. For my soul, I needed to communicate it. So yeah, that's a big relief for me. I mean, I'm very happy that, you know, this year money is being raised for charity, and I'm glad to know that it's already more successful than year two. Mission accomplished, as far as I'm concerned.
I responded to his personal attack with a joke, and then he hit me with a concern troll.
From the right, there's a lot of concern trolling around small businesses.
This is the most boring kind of concern troll.
Get Snoop Dogg and Tupac to concern troll.
Concern trolling.
You need to address this issue, man, because you are offending the trans community. Shut up.
That is such poor concern trolling.
Lindsey Graham did a lot of concern trolling about this.
His concern trolling is empirically wrong.
Oh, dude, this is like the hardest concern trolling I've ever heard in my entire life, dude.
You don't answer to the concern trolls.
damn, how old was that clip? 6 years, 7 years old? Jesus. How did people even get these clips?
Concern trolling about
8
homeless
years
people.
old?
This guy's an example of a concern troll.
Concern trolling about fairness.
They sit on the sidelines and they concern troll.
It's basically concern trolling.
A lot of people do concern troll.
Concern trolling.
That's concern trolling.
Concern troll. Concern troll. Concern trolling.
Concern trolling.
Concern trolling.
Quintessential concern troll.
That was some expert concern troll.
Yes. I've been working on my laugh lately. I'm trying to get it to a level where it's contagious. I haven't figured it out. I'll let you guys know when I figure it out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of iDubbbz Complains. In the last couple of videos, I got a lot of comments. Now, I don't have time to read all 150,000 comments, but I also don't want to let down my audience. You know, I want them to know that I hear you. I hear your concerns, and I'm listening. I've put all 150,000 comments into the AI, and I told it to condense it down into a singular comment that is representative of the whole. My hope is that the one comment will perfectly represent a small fragment of everyone in the audience, so everyone is equally happy. Okay, hold on a sec. So I'm kind of lost. Who's Hassan again? But hey, it's cool to see a content cop after all these years. Still, I gotta say, something feels different, man. Did we lose the plot somewhere? I miss the old days, but whatever. Keep doing you, I guess. Anyway, peace out. I'm gonna go rewatch some Filthy Frank now. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of the one comment because I feel like it perfectly encapsulates a comment from like a normie viewer who maybe watched you 5 years ago, but you know, they don't keep...
By the way, who's Hassan, LOL? When he says he's happy that his event did better than it did last year because the money raised, isn't that literally only because of the fundraiser that Noah Samson and Hassan and shit did? Isn't that where all of the vast majority of this money came from? Okay.
Rewatch some Filthy Frank now. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of the one comment because I feel like it perfectly encapsulates a comment from like a normie viewer who maybe watched you 5 years ago, but you know, they don't keep up with the drama or anything. When I first started my research on concern trolling, I was trying to find scholars on the topic. I know it hasn't been around for that long, but I'm like, surely there's someone who is well versed in the art of the troll.
He's mastered that art of trolling.
To my surprise, the scholar on this topic is Anita Sarkeesian. Yeah, it's been almost a decade since like the Gamergate time.
Why do these people all live in 2016? Like, Vadim lives back then. Like, has iDubbbz just not done any commentary or whatever, or been participating in anything? It's so weird that people are like rolling out these things from their childhood.
And go figure, the white guy 8 years later is like, I think Anita Sarkeesian was kind of onto something. There was a lot of assholes on the internet, and they're kind of misogynistic too, I think. It's crazy what a little CTE or the love of a woman will do to you.
Unfortunately, that's not the only species of concern troll out there.
Why would you say that? Why would you play, and maybe that was a meme, why would you play into that?
The most obvious definition for concern trolling is when someone is pretending to be concerned about a particular subject or cause, when in reality, they don't give a fuck. They're just doing it to either get attention, start a fight, derail a conversation. To be honest, it's very effective. Because back in the day, you could identify someone trolling pretty easily, and you can kind of scroll past it. They'd have a name like Shittis Fuckus, and they would say fake and gay. But nowadays, it feels like the average troll is going to give you a paragraph or two, and you will not be able to identify straight away if someone is with you or not. Do they hate me? Are they making a point here? Should I rethink my behavior? What the fuck? It seems like they'll oftentimes give you their fan resume to like prove that they're not just some random hater, right? They're not a troll or a hater. They're a fan who's been supporting you since the Kickstarter crap era. They've been supporting you since you made an NFT of your ball sack. I've been subscribed since the Overgrowth Let's Plays. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Overgrowth. Just want to say that this video really missed the mark. Hope that you can do better. Hope that you can do better is such a great thing to say. It's like, you're a piece of shit. Part of the reason I want to share this is because I know there are a lot of creators out there who have to deal with this on a regular basis. They have to be the ones to differentiate between authentic and inauthentic. And a lot of the time you just gotta flip a coin or just ignore it outright. And it's really easy to say, like, I would handle that really well because my policy is to not give a shit about any of it. But obviously, if you do want to have some sort of relationship with your audience or the internet in general, you do have to give some percentage of attention to what's being said online. That's going to be different for everyone. Now, some people might be worried that I'm giving new strategies to all the trolls out there.
Was that the only clip of me in this video? Do I care about any of them?
Don't worry, they already know these strategies. This is kind of like I think this is in all of us, right?
More?
Like, if you want
it becomes about you. Oh, good. I like that. Okay.
Attention, you're going to figure out a way to get the attention. If you want to with people, you'll figure out how to with people. This isn't like some secret sauce, really. There's a few different strategies of dealing with concerned trolls. You can obviously, try to look into their post history, and if they don't come across as credible, if all their post history is wiped, then you can just say, I'm going to err on the side of you're trolling me. When I listen to Tim Pool, he has like a little bit of a theory on, the left versus right and who is doing more concerned trolling.
The right has their concerned trolls, but it's rare. It rarely happens. On the left, it's
the right is literally defined by concerned trolling. Oh my God.
Endless, because people like Patton Oswalt don't care about principle.
Now, I don't fully buy into what Tim Pool is selling here. You can kind of look at the political spectrum as like a spectrum of concern, and people on the left seem to be generally more concerned than people on the right. You could say that people on the right are mostly concerned about themselves. That might be like a fair assessment. If you're somewhere over here where Tim Pool's at, all you got to do to concern troll him is take one step to the left. That's it. I think concern trolling is in the eye of the beholder. With this example, you have Tim Pool thinking that Patton Oswalt is being concern trolled by his audience, or a portion, maybe like a small segment of people.
This is what happens when you fall for this stuff. Patton Oswalt falls for it. He is a weak man.
But Patton Oswalt doesn't feel that way. He sees it as authentic concern, which is why he addresses it in this Instagram post. By the way, the concern is basically just people were uncomfortable with his association with Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle did some transphobic or said some transphobic shit. But Tim Pool has such a low emotional IQ that he doesn't realize it isn't a big deal to listen to what other people are saying and like adjust your behavior. It's all up to our own discretion, right? Like if you aren't to the point, Tim, where you don't want to apologize for anything, which by the way, it seems like that's a theme on your podcast, is basically saying like I'm not a problem. But acting like that's the way the rest of the world needs to operate, it's like I think Patton Oswalt is doing just fine operating the way he's operating.
Wallow in it. Okay, Patton Oswalt? Never tell an offensive joke again. Never cross the line again. Good luck trying to figure out where that line is. Good luck. You won't find it. You give in to the concern trolls and you will never work again.
It's so funny too, because Patton Oswalt has been doing comedy since Tim Pool was in diapers. What the are we talking about? Can we please, I don't know. It feels like people like Tim Pool love to appeal to authority all the time. In this scenario, can we please appeal to authority or acknowledge that this guy has tremendous authority over you in the world of comedy?
Unless you think comedy is saying I went to a Jewish bakery the other day. They had bagels. Really good, really impressed with it. That's the comedy you're headed for. That's the joke South Park made. And even South Park has started pulling its punches. Let me tell you about the real world, my friends. Get woke, go broke.
One of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is because after the content cop, I noticed a huge influx of concern trolls. They're trying to impact things in the real world. They're trying to, make people crash out, as I was kind of indicating in my video. But I will say, one of the concern trolls was super obvious to me. They came into the Discord. I'll read you what they put so you can kind of get a vibe for what a concern troll might sound like. Now, this comment is in reference to me saying that I think he needs a good ass whooping. What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good ass whooping is what he needs. They say, just being for real, this line in the video was pretty strange. Red flag number 1. At worst, it's a call for physical assault. At best, it's very toxic masculinity-esque. It just comes across as parody, right? This was literally no one's concern ever. He needs a good ass whooping is what he needs. Either way, it doesn't seem to align with Ian's mentality towards being more progressive and against harassment. You see what I mean? It's trying to insert a little seed of doubt. Whoa, you might have been irresponsible here. You might need to take accountability for what you've put out on the internet. Never mind the point that you were making in the video. I think you need to repent for...
Even if Ian has an argument here, Wasn't his whole content cop basically a giant concern troll by this definition? Like, what? No?
Your call to violence. I don't think any creator should make that kind of statement unless they have a very good reason to do so, morally speaking, because you never know what one of your fans might do. It's quite dangerous. I mean, to someone who hasn't been through the ringer of concern trolling, I'm sure this could like upset or confuse someone, but this is just drivel. I honest to God just think his vid and the whole intention would have been better without that in it. I don't see why he said that. Ugh. Of course, this is a new user to our Discord, so no post history. So we gotta get creative. You reverse search the username and you find that they have a Twitter. Their Twitter is suspended. The Blue Sky account, though, has tweets like, so how long until Destiny gets banned from this app? Hashtag DGG. Hashtag Dalaban. Hashtag Destiny. Tankies are already terrified of arriving Dalaban forces. Following back all liberals. Hashtag DGG. Now, the reason that these posts are relevant is because Destiny is...
He reverse searched a single person in his Discord to their Blue Sky account, which is, by the way, a very liberal platform. And then is this my fault somehow? Okay.
Is quite famous for saying very unhinged, offensive shit, and he doesn't really seem to care that much about it.
Don't pretend like you care about mental health or any of that cringe shit. Just be based. Tell people to kill themselves. Make fun of people who are on SSRIs. Make fun of people who have depression, anxiety, or ADHD. Just do that. Just embrace the I can't say the words on stream anymore. All the slurs, everything you use. Just do that. Go full in on it.
Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I don't think this user is actually worried about the language I'm using.
Okay, never mind. I saw the last thing, whatever was brought up here before, and I'm like, who cares if they used an out-of-context clip about me in like some montage of other people? But I feel like he's taking literally the exact opposite take of what, like, I'm calling Ian out for concern trolling here. Did he not watch the video? Wait, what the
I don't think that they're concerned about me being toxic masculinity-esque.
Make fun of people who are on SSRIs.
And I kind of don't think that they're worried about a call to violence. I actually think that they wouldn't mind me doing a call to violence.
Tell people to kill themselves.
They actually might even be encouraged by a call to violence, if I had to guess, you know. I can only speculate based on hashtag Dalaban, which is just like...
Based on the one account in your Discord with no history? I love how big streamers or big YouTubers all pretend like they don't know how any part of the internet works as soon as they start fighting with me. Like, they all suddenly have amnesia, and they're like, how do I know that these are all like Destiny comments? Well, because one guy in my Discord, yeah, Ludwig did this too. Yeah, one guy in my Discord made one comment, and then I looked up his post history, and the one comment the guy made was maybe he shouldn't put the physically assault thing in. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Racist Twitter group. Ultimately, concern trolling is just saying something in bad faith. It's very similar to tone policing or sea lining, but I didn't really want to talk about those because those feel different to me for some reason. Specifically, sea lining. That isn't even intuitive. You know, I've looked it up, I think 3 times now, and I still don't. I mean, I get it. I just can't recall it easily. So in my mind, that means it's stupid. It's not working. I can't bust it out in the middle of a heated argument and say, you're sea lining me. See, it's because you grew whiskers in the middle of this debate. That means you're sea lining me. You started flapping your arms and going, oh, oh, oh. Therefore, you are sea lining. I mean, there you go. It feels like 2 people getting into a shouting match is more an accurate descriptor of sea lining than whatever the fuck it is. I think the least problematic part of being a concern troll is them taking a moderate position, because at that point, you're just being a party pooper or like a killjoy, a buzzkill. Like, we're familiar with these types of people. They're just constantly reeling people in because they're worried that they're using like too crazy a rhetoric or they're getting a little too excited, right? And I think we all could use people in our lives to like reel us in a bit. The aspect of concern trolling that bothers me the most is the role-playing aspect. There isn't really a lot of incentive to not be anonymous online. There are some people out there who've made the unconscious choice to be like, my online profile is just an extension of who I am in the real world. And then there are all the people who consciously decide to stay anonymous. Now, for some of these people, it's just like, I want to be safe and I really don't want to take that plunge. Fair enough. But then there are the people who are like, not only am I not going to be myself, I'm going to be someone else. You know, I'm going to be someone else so that I can with this community of people. Now, every time I see these characters, the image that pops in my mind is not like, oh, like you're a clever, smart guy who has infiltrated the opposing faction. You're like the spy in Team Fortress 2. It's like, no, that is a fantasy. What you actually are is you're like Steven Crowder in a wig at a women's only event, thinking that they're making some kind of grand point.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with all the frequencies of feminism, and I am here at the Women's March.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think if I'm flipping a coin. Heads I say something and tails I say nothing. Okay.
Often.
We quickly found out that nobody questions, criticizes, nor runs security background checks on trannies.
The reason someone like Steven Crowder gets into this position is not because of his cunning. It's because people are like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo freak. I'm staying, 20 feet away from you at all times.
2 out of 3? It's, bro, I would need 2 heads in a row. Hold on, 3 out of 5. Okay. Heads or tails? Heads I say something, tails I don't say anything. It's technically, this is all publicly available information. I think I just had a revelation. They have one witness that is keeping this case alive, and they claim that they have that I'd sent them videos of people or whatever, and I didn't. I went through all of our DMs, and I know I didn't. And I'm thinking, like, did they fabricate these messages talking to friends, or were they just bragging? But you know what I just remembered is This person told, I found this out a few weeks ago. I don't even know when this happened. This person went through my computer when I was outside of my apartment when they were here. I wonder if her claims that she'd seen anything were when she went through my PC. Holy shit. This is why she has some names that she says to a friend, but she doesn't have anything of me sending it to anybody. Darius leaked that. Yeah, because she told, wait, you didn't know that? She also leaked Mel's diary? I knew she took pictures of my house and sent it to people. Well, I learned that a month or two ago, but it was from, I learned a month or so ago. I don't get it. So I think she might be trying to say that like, oh, like he sent me whatever videos before. I hadn't though. I think she snooped through my computer and was looking at and was trying to say that like, oh yeah, he sent me but I didn't send any of this stuff to her. She dug through my PC and was looking for on it. I think that's where that, I wonder if that's where that claim comes from. Holy shit. She did it at the same time she took the diary pictures? Yeah. You not password lock your PC? I normally do. That's why, how did you learn about this? This is for the Jane Doe Abby MC person. Oh my God. This would make so much sense too, because one of the things that I said for how I knew she was lying was because I don't have any videos of me and the other person that she said that I had sent videos to me, but that person has sent me videos of her and another person. She might have just thought that other person was me. So she just went through and she was snipping my shit, and now she's trying to claim that I, holy shit. I just had the biggest brain blast. This is why they're dodging service. And this is why their attorneys aren't accepting service. I bet that's the logic that they're using.